It's the motherfucking player haters. Oh, yeah.
Player haters.
Afternoon, boys and lady. How you doing? Yeah, coming at you a little bit early today. It's what happens when you work for a place that schedules you to work and you get in your vehicle all dressed to deliver dog shit, and then they text you and say, "Nope, we don't need you today." Totally fucks up your whole like mindset and what you were going to do, but whatever. That's the fuckery that is the fuckery at the post office. So here we go. Figured I'd go ahead and knock this one out before I got to go pick up the children from school or child, whatever. Week 20 came and it went. We are rapidly approaching the playoffs. We have this week and next week. And let me tell you, in case you hadn't already paid attention to the little thumbnail or what I'm calling this one last week, Topsy Turvy. That was a crazy ass week last week. And a few matchups came down to Sunday, just really turning things kind of back on the correct axis, if you will. But there were some matchups that were kind of like, what is happening right now? I don't know if you guys were like me, but I was on the struggle bus every day. It felt like, I mean, I wasn't getting any hits. And I'm just like, what is my team doing? What the hell happened? Where was offense? There was nothing. I could not get production anywhere to save my life. And Monday, man, just started out with a bang for one Eric Croft. I mean, he got the dub, but goodness, man, I'm glad that, for my sake, it didn't end up being what it was all week. All week, it was one certain way. And if not for the fact that, in my humble opinion, he got a little greedy and he ended up, like if you watched last week's, podcast, I was definitely calling Jack Flaherty the best pitcher in baseball. And look what happened. I mean, come on, let's face it. He was not supposed to put up the numbers that he did put up. Granted, he'll have a good game every now and again. Okay, whatever. But my goodness, that was just, he got a little greedy, in my opinion, in playing. He would have, he was searching for a win and another quality start. I say he got greedy. He played the pitchers, but it came very close to being a tie in the strikeouts for Eric and I. But the bigger story of the week was Jason and Josh. Like, this was supposed to be a very good matchup to watch, and Josh was just like me. Couldn't find any offense. So let's get into that matchup, if you will. Bear with me, my computer lost some power here, but this was, Jason left no doubts as to who was going to win the offense, and it was not even close. I mean, Trey Turner, Jason had made mention that he was glad Wyatt Langford came to life. Colson Montgomery, never heard of her, but here he is doing crazy things. And Stanton, Giancarlo, excuse me. Holy shit, man. I mean, he put up some big fucking numbers last week, but even this Jacob Marseille, another name, never heard of her, but putting up some big ass numbers for Jason, man. And we've always seen this, like at the end of the season, when these call-ups start getting made to batters and pitchers, they really can be the deciding factor for some teams. And Jason may have just found a great source. I mean, you think about it, such a long season, and the teams that are just calling up people that like, hey, we want to see what they can do. Uh, Miami's probably for the most part. I mean, they're 9 games out of the playoff spot, but are they actually going to make the playoffs? I doubt it, but it's like, why not just call him up, see what he can do? And, Miami, I mean, shit, they're probably already like outsourcing this guy's productivity to other teams. But you got a healthy new set of legs and, see what they can do. And now they're here and, you go and you grab those guys up and they could be the deciding factor for, sorry, somebody, Ray dropped something. But yeah, the flip side of this is Josh, man. He got some production, but again, 19 RBIs to 43. The runs, I mean, it just, yeah, Jason left no doubt. And then you look at the pitching categories too, 91 strikeouts to 57, a whole 2 point difference almost in the ERA. And Jason said, fuck this. I'm taking the whole fucking kit and caboodle. And he just destroyed Josh last week. And Josh, luckily, got to hang on to the fact that, like, hey, he's had some sizable victories himself, but that was not what you wanted going into, the last 2 weeks when I have been saying that the people that are in the bottom six are not out by any stretch of the imagination. And you have to at least do what someone like myself did, stay relevant and hold on to what you can, because coming down, it makes the big difference. Speaking of, let's go ahead and talk about my matchup. Not that we've not, again, a 176 batting average. There was nothing, like I could not find any production at all. And thankfully Sunday happened for me to where I will say, admittedly, Spencer Steer was not in my starting roster. I had Isaac Collins in there, and Isaac got a red X. So in comes Spencer, and he hits a 3-run home run, puts me over the top with the RBIs, ties me in home runs, and then Shohei Ohtani, who didn't have like the best week, he hits a home run and gives me that category, thankfully. But I mean, like I had said, Eric started off the week hot. Fuck Jerks and Profar. I mean, he was his big workhorse. 6 runs, 3 home runs, 13 RBI, and 2 stolen bases. Jerkson has finally found, I guess, a groove. But outside of that, man, I mean, he got some good production from Bryce Harper. But again, he did not have a well balanced equation, in my opinion. But fucking Corbin Carroll, just took stolen bases, but nothing. Like I didn't have anything. There was nobody. You don't get on base. You don't get the opportunity to steal a fucking bag, anyways. So yeah, just brutal. But thankfully, he was, he missed out on a Brandon Woodruff start. Say thankfully for me, so we tied in wins and we tied in save plus holds. Man, it's just it was so crazy. Sunday, I was just watching Trevor McGill just fucking fuck up, like 4-3, Milwaukee, San Francisco Giants. He gets, it was like a walk, it was a strikeout, it was just a up and down inning for Trevor. And I was just like, dude, get the fucking save plus hold, man. Let's go. Get me this stat. But nope. And then I was like, all right, maybe Milwaukee will come back and win it in the bottom of the ninth and he'll get a win. Give me that category. Nope. Didn't do it. So here we are. But I was able to walk away with the ERA and the whip based off of 2 pitchers that he had. I believe it was Sonny Gray, maybe, and Jack Flaherty. That kind of gave him some No, Tyler Glasnow. Yeah, how about that start? That was the one that really kind of kept him out of being able to take back ERA and WHIP. But again, with Trevor McGill, I was like, dude, stop, man, just stop. You're fucking up my WHIP and shit. And then, of course, one strikeout, just one freaking strikeout. And I had a day where I had to bench Reed Detmers, and Reed got me two strikeouts, and that could have been the difference. It's just these little minute things. And that's how important it is to just stay. What is the saying you guys have? A chip and a seat. So as long as you got one. Speaking of, Trippin' Billy's took a somewhat sigh of breath in tying Brian. Pretty good matchup between these two guys, but the categories, the stats, or excuse me, the categories were very close. Runs was only 2, RBIs were 3, 5 home runs. So Shane was able to put the power, but 2 stolen bases, but the average and OBP went to Brian, and then a very close matchup between these two gentlemen in the pitching categories. 10 strikeouts separated the two. The ERA and the WHIP were very close and very nice numbers of, 2. Obviously, Brian had a 2.74, but those are respectable numbers. You like that going into, week 21 for sure, but also thinking into the playoffs. But yeah, well balanced from both of these guys in terms of their offense. I'm not sure what, if anything, that he might have missed out on, but Marcus Semien finds his way back into our free agent pool because he's now been diagnosed with a fractured third metatarsal bone and Liz Frank sprain. So he's gone for 4 to 6 weeks. So I don't even know. Is Texas even in the playoff hunt? But Nick Kurtz slowed down a little bit, but Shea Langoliers did not. So but Freddie Freeman woke up for him. Bryce Terang, a name that just like, really? Wow. But not enough for Brian to take the offensive categories other than average and OBP. But he was able to keep it a tie, 6-6 for these two gentlemen. So pretty much they stay right where they are. We already talked about Jason and Josh. Let's talk about Nick and Scott. I mean, Scott was, it looked like he was putting a nice whooping, can of whoop ass. And he had a nice day from Cal Raleigh, who set himself up in the record books as being the catcher that now has the most single season or one season home runs. He's now got 49. He passed Salvador Perez, who had 48. Sorry. See, this is the water jug I take with me to work. I'm not gonna dump it out, so might as well go ahead and use it. Good water. All right. So talking about Nick and Scott. Scott obviously picked up, I believe, Mackenzie Gore. But yeah, Scott's got a really nice team, and man, we'll get into it in a second because I haven't really looked at the numbers, but this shit is still so freaking close. Nick was able to get, I believe, a grand slam from Junior Caminero that put him over on the stolen bases. But look at this average in OBP. It's so marginally close that they had to go into the thousandth or 100,000s, maybe. So, yeah, if I remember. But yeah, 3.479 to 3.478. That's how close it was. Average, that close. I mean, you want to talk about just like play the right player or play the wrong player one day. That's just nuts. But yeah, strong pitching performances from these two guys as well. Under a 3 ERA. They tied in wins. Mandalorians just walked away with the quality starts, though, and save plus holds. But yeah, we're going to have to look at, what is it that Scott can do? Because, yeah, he's in ninth, but still. Sean told Ray sorry you're not Casey, because I believe I beat Sean last week. If it was last week, I can't remember. But 10-2 was this final score. So again, I believe that these two teams are marginally out of it, but this was still a good performance, a strong performance, if you will, from Sean. 15 home runs. Man, he got some stuff from Jeff McNeil, which obviously he went against Braves pitching for half this week. Wilson Contreras, and then Vinny Pasquantino. You want to talk about like, damn, dude, like really? 7 runs, 6 home runs, 12 ribbies. So I'm sure he had himself a day against. He put a home run on the board, but yeah, he had a nice week against Texas pitching. So hopefully he can do that stuff, next season. Because I mean, I drafted his ass and he wasn't doing shit at the time. So, but he's definitely raised his stock value for sure if he keeps it up. And pitching performance is not what either one of these teams thought. And Ray had two big losses. Austin Riley and Zach Wheeler, both gone for the remainder of the season, which is, that's bad, in my opinion, on both fronts. Bad for baseball. It's bad for the Phillies, too. Like, I mean, he's got a blood clot, and he might miss like 8 weeks of the start of next season because of it. Whew, not cool, not good, man. And he was having a Cy Young performance. I wonder if they'll even like consider giving it to him, like now that he's out. I doubt it. So sucks, man, because he's never been given it. And last but not least, let's talk about it. Walker Jesus said, "Not today, my brother. You're coming back down." This loss brought Rally Monkeys, who had again last week had a rise back into the top six, and just by this much, he's out of it. Again, we'll talk about it in just a second about how close everything is moving into the next 2 weeks or these last 2 weeks of the regular season. But Walker was only able to grab home runs, strikeouts, and save plus holds, and everything else was super close. These are not the ERAs that you want going into the last 2 weeks. Above 6 for Walker, right at 6 for Jesus. But Jesus was able to dominate for the most part the offense. 40 RBIs to Walker's 31. 36 runs to Walker's 21. Stolen bases were somewhat close. But again, this Jesus isn't out of it either. And he's been a team that's been, for the most part, involved in the playoff conversation. But man, look at the pitchers that Walker has gotten rid of. Spencer Strider, Mackenzie Gore, he dropped Griffin Jacks, Matt Brash, and Blake Snell. What, did he get sent back down? Like, what happened to him? Paternity list. Wow. So, all right. But Shohei Ohtani, like I've stated, man, he's just like, look, he has not done good. You have to say to yourself, you've got to pick, in my opinion. Are you going to bat or are you going to pitch? But pitching for the last 5 starts for him, he has had an ERA right at around 2. He only went 3 innings against Minnesota. Got 3 strikeouts, but an ERA of 3. But look at the whip in the next game against Cincinnati, 2.33. And then this past one at Colorado, 11.25. I think they ended up losing that game. Yeah, it's like, dude, every game that he has started, the past 4 starts, they've lost. So, yeah, he got a lot of strikeouts against the Cardinals with 8, but, what was the strike zone that day? Who was behind the mound? I've read a few times you guys' comments about, the umpires just really missing the mark and sucking balls. So robot umps are coming. Let's bring them. Let's go. So we've recapped all of week 20 and how topsy-turvy it was. Let's talk about week 21 And actually, no, let me go back to the conversation that I've been wanting to have about our league and how close everything is. So, based off of last week's results, Tripping Billy's is 6 games ahead of his previous competition in Brian, who is now in second place. 6 games is the margin between first and second. 9 games from third to first, and that would be Jason. So big win, still a week to 2 weeks of separation. So I believe, well, we won't dub him the number one guy just yet, but I believe it's looking like Shane is probably going to be able to hold on to the number one spot with 2 weeks left to go. But Brian definitely will have something to say about that, as will Jason. Speaking of one guy that, just a couple of weeks ago was 1 game back from Shane taking a fall, but not from grace, is Josh, again losing 12-0 to Jason, who is just with that huge victory, only 1 game behind Jason. Myself, I'm 2 games behind Josh and 3 games ahead of Nick, who is now back in the playoff hunt, taking over Rally Monkeys. I don't believe last week Walker was just 6th. I think he was higher than me. I can't remember. But Rally Monkeys is 1 game back from Nick. 2.5 games back from Rally Monkeys is the person who just beat him, and that's Jesus. Also, 2.5 games back is Scott. And then 3.5 games back is Eric. These guys, these 4 guys are not out of it yet. And if the week that was last week happens again, oh my goodness, there's going to be some more changes for sure at the top. We will mention that Sean and Ray, again, I believe, are mathematically eliminated from being able to, come in there. 28 games back from first place is Sean, but from 6th place, he is 13 games back. So, and Ray is 39 and a half games back from Shane, who is in first. Now, week 21, let's talk about it. Here we go. This is a big matchup between myself and Nick. Again, we're 5th and 6th, and we are holding on by the skin of our teeth. This is a big matchup. Here's another big matchup. Shane and Josh. Could you have asked for 2 better matchups to just watch and observe? No, you could. It's Jason and Walker. That's another big matchup because, again, Rally Monkeys isn't out of this yet. And Jason just destroyed Josh. The last thing that Walker wants to do is go through a buzzsaw like that, lose 12-0. Walker's out, right? Right? I mean, we can say that. Even if he was to win the next following week, being 12, and if he was to win 12-0 against his last regular season competition, which will be Scott. I mean, I just don't see it happening. But again, I don't see Walker losing 12-0, and I don't see his pitching staff has done this. So if it's anything, Jason, just know his pitching staff is going to pitch to a 1 dot this week, maybe even better, just in my opinion. But yeah, myself and Nick will face off. This is I'm only 3 games ahead of Nick. So, I mean, it's not where I want to be, but it's definitely those 2 ties that Eric and I had. It's like, all right, yeah, but 22 ties is what Nick has. I believe he's got the most. Nope, Scott has 23 right now in the league. So that big difference. But yeah, the other big matchup to watch, Shane and Josh. That's going to be Very interesting. Josh wants nothing to do with the result that he just had last week. Sean will face off against Brian. Sean looking to maybe just try to disrupt that run that Brian's been on here lately. Scott will face off against Jesus. This is another big matchup to watch because these two guys, a big win for either one of these guys could projectile them into the top six. Ray will face off against Eric. Eric's looking to do what he can. I mean, he saw the matchup last week for Ray and Sean. Will he be able to maybe, get some similar result? Because again, he's only when it comes to sixth place, he's 4.5 games back out of six. So he's not out by any stretch of the imagination, chipping away at him. We've already mentioned the big matchup between Jason and Walker. So those are your week 21 matchups. You know what? I'm going to do something I really don't typically do, but I've already kind of done it. Week 22. These are your matchups to just talk about and think about how crucial and big these are. Myself and Jason, or Jesus rather, will be facing off. Speaking of Jason, he'll be facing off against Shane. Josh will face off against Sean. Nick will face off against Ray. Scott plays Rally Monkeys. What a matchup to watch there. And Eric will face off against Brian. These next 2 weeks are just going to be interesting. So I think that's about it. I think that's all I can really, dive into. This is just going to be one fucking crazy stretch that literally is probably going to come down to some head-to-head stats and wins. And it's an unfortunate thing, but that's how it's how it goes. It's how it's played. So, yeah, just stay tuned. Every move matters more than it's ever mattered before. So, all right. Sorry for the long one, boys. Hope y'all have a great day. Peace. It's the motherfucker player. Hey.